YouTube, my name is Elizabeth and welcome to Book Babble. Today I'm going to be doing my bookshelf tour, but I'm only going to be doing the books that I have not read yet for 2016. I kind of wanted a video that documented all of the books that I have unread on my shelves as of right now, and I figured you guys would like to see the massive amount of books on my shelf that I have yet to read yet. Now I do have a couple rules for this. I'm not going to include my classic books because I basically have like 2 whole sections of my bookshelf full of classic books that I've just collected over the years that I no longer have interest in reading, and I'm not going to include my husband's books unless like he has some books that I am interested in reading, like the adult fantasy. A lot of these are his, but I have interest in reading them as well, so I will include those, but I'm not going to include most of my husband's books just to save a little bit of time. So let's get started. The Host by Stephanie Meyer, The Name of the Wind by Carlos Luis Savan, Afterworlds by Scott Westerfeld, Beastly and Cloaked by Alex Flynn, Dune by Carrie Corp and Lori Langdon, Catalyst by Lydia Kang, Son of a Witch, Confessions of an Ugly Stepsister, and Wicked, all by Gregory Maguire. I really need to read this series. Isle of the Lost by Melissa De La Cruz, The Neverland Wars by Audrey Greathouse, A Midsummer Night's Scream by R.L. Stine, Mechanica by Betsy Cornwell, Queen of the Channeling by Erica Johansson. These books here I have no interest in reading, like all of these right here, but I have not read any of the Lord of the Rings series, so I don't feel like pulling these out because they're like this and you guys know what the front looks like usually. And we also have a copy of the Silmarillion, which is part of the Lord of the Rings series, if you didn't know. I do want to read The Name of the Wind and A Wise Man's Fear by Patrick Rothfuss. I'm actually in the middle of this one. Well, not really. I'm on page 204 out of like 700 pages. So I'm working my way through this one slowly. Maybe I'll get to it by the end of 2016, but I do want to read both of these. I am currently in the middle of Clash of Kings, so I still will mark this as unread because I haven't read the whole thing. And of course, I do want to read A Feast of Crows, A Storm of Swords, and A Dance with Dragons. So we have The Drawing of the Three, which is book 2, I believe, in this series, and I'm actually about that much through it, but I put it down because I was just not feeling it at the time. But I do want to finish the Gunslinger series by Stephen King. So the next one is The Wizard in Glass. These are actually out of order because we have some of them in hardcover and some of them in paperback. The next one we have is The Wastelands, then The Dark Tower, then The Wolves of Kala, The Wind Through the Keyhole, and The Songs of Susanna. Then I have Armada by Ernest Cline. Me and my husband were both really excited for this to come out after Ready Player One came out, and then my husband started reading it and he hated it. He thought it was like the worst. So I want to read this just because I'm super interested, but I've heard nothing but bad things about this second book from Ernest Cline. So I'm worried, but I'm really hoping that I enjoy it. I'll probably read it eventually, just not anytime soon. Magonia by Maria Devana Headley, Snow Like Ashes by Sarah Rosh, The Wrath on the Dawn by Renee Attier, and the second one comes out very soon, I think like this month, so I really need to get on this book. Legend by Marie Lu, The Tree of Water by Elizabeth Hayden. I actually won this in a giveaway, not realizing that it was like the 3rd book in a series. I don't even know what the first book of this series is called. It's The Lost Journals of Van Polfian, I don't know. If you guys have read this series, let me know if it's worth reading. If not, I'm probably just going to donate this copy. The Lux by Anna Godberson, Rook by Sharon Cameron, Lux Beginnings by Jennifer L. Armentrout. I've actually read this is the combination of the first 2 books in the series. I've read the first one, but not the second one, so I just marked this as unread. But I have 0 interest in reading this series, so I'm actually just keeping it here because I don't want an empty space on my shelf, so I need to buy more books to put in this space before I can get rid of this one. Graceling and Fire by Kristen Kishore, Sea of Shadows by Kelly Armstrong, Paladin Prophecy by Mark Frost. As you can tell, my dog totally chewed this one up, and again, this is another book that I've read halfway through. I'm on page 234 and I've just never finished it, so I really should do that. The Walled City by Ryan Godden, Eldest by Christopher Paolini. I have read Aragon, but I have not had a chance to read Eldest yet. Ink Heart, Ink Spell, and Ink Death by Cornelia Funk. Oh no, Buddha. Okay, Buddha's okay. Books 1 through 12 of the series of Unfortunate Events series by Lemony Snicket. There are 13 books in this series. I only own 12, but I haven't read any of them yet. Don't judge me. Gregor and the Prophecy of Bane by Suzanne Collins. I don't even know if this is the first book in the series, but it is Suzanne Collins' middle grade series, and that's the only reason why I picked it up. It's because it was written by Suzanne Collins, but I heard really good things about this. I gotta look to see if this is the first one, because I don't know. Okay, so I don't know how this happened, but I read the first Artemis Fowl book back in like middle school, the one with the gold cover. I think it was just called Artemis Fowl, and it was really good. And I had it for forever, and then I lost it, and I ended up buying like all the Artemis Fowl books that I could find, and I don't think any of these are in order. I definitely don't have the whole series. I don't know. I really want to read it, but I can't complete the series because every time I go to the store, I just forget that I need them, or I forget which ones I already have. I don't know. But anyway, I've got the Artemis Fowl Files, which is like a companion to the series, the Arctic Incident, the Eternity Code, the Opal Deception, and the Time Paradox. Books 6, The Silver Chair, and 7, The Last Battle of the Chronicles of Narnia series by C.S. Lewis. I just don't want it to end. Ella Enchanted by Gail Carson Levin. The Golden Compass by Philip Pullman. Fablehaven by Brandon Mull. The Order of the Phoenix by J.K. Rowling. The Half-Blood Prince by J.K. Rowling. And The Deathly Hallows by J.K. Rowling. Don't judge me. Big Fish by Daniel Wallace. First Life by Gina Showalter. Crown of Midnight and Air of Fire by Sarah J. Maas. Unravel Me by Tahara Mafi. The Novice and the Inquisition by Tara Namatharu, and I'm going to be starting this one today because I have to read this one for a review. Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children by Ransom Riggs. Why We Broke Up by Daniel Handler. A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. A Book of Spirit and Thieves by Morgan Rhodes. Legacy of Kings by Eleanor Herman. Dark Witch and Shadow Spell by Nora Roberts. 172 Hours on the Moon by Johan Harstad. Shadow Study by Maria V. Snyder. A Great and Terrible Beauty, Rebel Angels, and The Sweet Far Thing by Libba Bray. Black Hearts by Nicole Casterman. Eon by Allison Goodman. Mortal Gods by Kendar Blake. The funny thing is with this series is this is actually like the second book in the series, I believe, and I want to give away from Kendar Blake to my name be used and my personality be used for a character in her next book of this series. And so she sent me a copy of the second one and she signed it, and in here somewhere, I think. There we go. So she sent me a signed copy of her second book in the series, and my name, a new character, is going to be mentioned in the third book, named after me and personalities after me, I guess. And the third book has since come out. I did not get it. I didn't get the first one. I really should read this because I have a character in the book series named after me, and I just never got around to it. If you guys have read this, I think it's the Mortal Gods series or the Goddess War series by Kendar Blake, let me know. Let me know if it's worth the read. I should probably read it anyway because I won the giveaway, but City of Bones by Cassandra Clare. I don't know if I'm ever going to read this. The Darkest Minds and Never Fade by Alexandra Bracken. Etiquette and Espionage by Gail Carriger. The Story Spinner by Becky Wallace. The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater. I still have the receipt in this book. So, Trial by Fire by Josephine Angelini. The Winter's Curse by Marie Rutowski. The Fifth Wave by Rick Yancey, and Reckless Magic by Rachel Higginson. Farewell My Queen by Chantal Thomas. The Red Queen by Philippa Gregory. Funny story about Philippa Gregory is right before I got into BookTube and I knew that Goodreads existed, I was working at a used bookstore and I got like re-obsessed with Philippa Gregory, and I read a ton of her books, but a lot of her books takes place in like the Elizabethan Tudor era of England, and so they kind of all mesh together, and I've forgotten which ones I've read and which ones I haven't. So eventually I think I'm going to reread them all just because I love Philippa Gregory so much, but I'm just going to put them all on here because I don't know if I've read them or not. I don't remember. The Virgin's Lover, The White Princess, The Lady of the Rivers, The White Queen, The Queen's Fool, The Bullet Inheritance, Constant Princess, and The Other Queen, all by Philippa Gregory. The Hidden Diary of Marie Antoinette, The Secret Life of Josephine, The Last Wife of Henry VIII, and The Favored Queen, all by Carolee Erickson. At the King's Pleasure, Secrets of the Tudor Court, A Royal Decree, Between Two Queens, and The Pleasure Palace, all by Kate Emerson. The Queen's Mistake, and The Perfect Royal Mistress by Diane Hager. The King's Daughter by Christy Dickinson. The Innocent Traitor by Alison Weir. Eat, Pray, Love by Elizabeth Gilbert. Memoirs of a Geisha by Arthur Golden. Alright guys, so my camera died. I'm really sorry, but I had to go to work shortly after that, and so I didn't have time for my camera to charge, so I'm just going to finish up this video really quick, so that's why it might look different. I'm wearing different clothes, but let's just go ahead and get started with the rest of my unread books that I own. Vampire Academy, Shadow Kiss, and Blood Promise from the Vampire Academy series by Rochelle Mead. So I think I own almost all of the Blue Bloods trilogy. I was going to read this, and the used bookstore that I used to work at had almost the whole series, so I went ahead and picked it up. And let me see, I've got Blue Bloods, Lost in Time, the Van Allen Legacy, Masquerade, Misguided Angel, Revelations, Keys to the Repository, and Bloody Valentine, which I think these are like little novellas from this series. I have the whole thing and I really don't want to give it up, but I'm not really big on vampire books. So if you guys have read this series, comment down below and let me know a reason why I should read them. So I have a bunch of these Royal Diaries and Dear Americas. I usually save these for readathons if I need something really quick to read. These are just big throwbacks to my childhood. So I have Catherine, Eleanor, Sandoc, and Cleopatra the 7th. Yes, I think I've read this one, but I'm not completely sure. It's due for a reread probably. My Face to the Wind, The Girl Who Chased Away Sorrow, A Time for Courage, Voyage on the Great Titanic, Dreams in the Golden Country, Christmas After All, A Picture of Freedom, Seeds of Hope, A Line in the Sand, The Winter of Red Snow, Standing in the Light, Look to the Hills. This one is The Journal of Benuchita Mirror Lake Internment Camp in California, 1942. The Journal of William Thomas Emerson, Revolutionary War Time. And The Journal of James Edmund Pease, Civil War Time. 3 Weeks with My Brother by Nicholas and Micah Sparks. Water for Elephants by Sarah Gruen. Seabiscuit by Laura Hildenbrand. My Sister's Keeper by Jodi Picoult. Order of Darkness and Changeling by Philippa Gregory. So I have a bunch of the books in the House of Night series. This is again the same thing. If you guys can think of a reason why I should read this book series, I have so many of the books, I don't really want to get rid of them, but I'm not really wanting to read them either. So the first one is a combination of Marked and Betrayed. Then I have Chosen, Hunted, Tempted, and Awakened. The Arithmetist by Brandon Sanderson. I have all of the books except for one in the Demonata series by Darren Shan. I read his Cirque du Freak series and loved it, and so I picked all of these up when I found them at my local used bookstore. The first one is called Lord Loss Slaughter, Beck, Blood Beast, Demon Apocalypse, Death's Shadow, Wolf Island, and Dark Calling. The bind-up of the first 3 books in the Sweep series. I have read the first one in this series, which is Book of Shadows, but I have not read The Coven or Blood Witch. I have 3 books in the, what are these called? True Blood series. I have Club Dead, Living Dead in Dallas, and Dead Until Dark. Another series about vampires that was super big at one point, and then I just lost the interest in reading them. So if you guys really like this series, let me know down below why I should read it. Identical, Crank, and Impulse by Ellen Hopkins. Shopaholic Ties the Knot, Shopaholic and Sister, Mini Shopaholic, and Can You Keep a Secret by Sophie Kinsella. The Notebook by Nicholas Sparks. Go Ask Alice and the Book of David by Anonymous. The Truth About Forever by Sarah Dessen. You Are Here, This Is What Happy Looks Like, The Geography of You and Me, and The Statistical Probability of Love at First Sight, all by Jennifer E. Smith. Love and Other Unknown Variables by Shannon Lee Alexander. The Last Time We Say Goodbye by Cynthia Hand. Landline by Rainbow Rowell. Alright guys, so that is all of the books for my unread books of my shelf, which was basically all of them. If I feel like it, I will put a number of how many books there were that I have unread that I owned somewhere around here. It's probably really embarrassing and I need to shape up. But I have like so many books from the library, it's insane. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you want me to do a video like this about all the books that I own, let me know down in the comments below. And thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye!